Nancy had just gotten home from work and checked her mailbox and noticed it was full. Most were just bills, coupons, and spam newsletters. She lost interest midway and threw the bundle on the kitchen table, sending envelopes everywhere. One particular envelope caught her attention. The size and shape were not like the others, and it had no return address on it. Her curiosity had gotten the better of her, and she used a kitchen knife to open the strange envelope and spill out the contents. It contained only a single piece of oxblood red paper. She turned the paper over, scrutinised each side, looking for a message or writing of any kind. But the paper was blank. She thought it was a prank and was not amused. She huffed as she tossed the piece of paper onto the counter and left the kitchen. The paper landed on the counter and began to fold itself into a 6-inch tall origami demon. It laughed a tiny, mischievous laugh and ran after Nancy. It caught up to her and sank its paper fangs into her ankle. It felt like a paper cut, and she cried out. She kicked it away, causing it to jump off before cackling impishly and ran away. Nancy then realised what the letter was about. It was a prank, a revenge prank. But she couldn't understand why anyone would want a revenge against someone like her. She thought herself to be better than the average person, and so was incapable of offending others. Sure, she did make mistakes and pissed people off from time to time, but they were only minor issues. Like the time when she called the police on her neighbour when their baby shower music had been too loud. Or when she sprayed her prized hibiscus with chemicals because the neighbour's dog liked playing in them. The chemicals she used had killed the dog, but that wasn't her fault. It was her yard and her flowers, so she could do whatever she wanted. She searched the house for a little demon when she heard a crash coming from the living room. She ran into the room to see it had knocked over her priceless antique vase. It laughed as it ran back into the kitchen. She followed it and saw it throwing food items from the pantry. It was making a big mess on the floor. Nancy snuck up behind it and caught it by the horns. She quickly tore it into pieces before it could bite her again. Satisfied, she swept up the pieces and threw them in the trash. That night, as she slept, she heard tiny, mischievous laughter. Her eyes flew open to see that the torn pieces of paper had folded themselves into a dozen tiny paper demons. They were standing on her bed, holding a kitchen knife in their little paper hands, as if it were a battering ram. Before she could react, they stabbed the knife into her throat.